Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. Tonight I'm going to be doing a review of a thriller from my country, Australia, English language, released in the year 2010, directed by Michael Henry, and this film is called Blame. And the story to Blame is as follows. Testing the fibre of friendship and the spirit of conviction, Blame is a confronting tale of twisted revenge and bitter betrayal. Driven by the grief of a deceased loved one, 5 conspiring friends set out to exact revenge against the man responsible and invade the remote country home of music teacher Bernard. Confident that their victim's death by his own hand will not raise suspicion, the group leaves the scene of the crime without the slightest hint of remorse. Reluctantly returning to retrieve an incriminating piece of evidence, they soon discover that Bernard is not only alive but desperately determined to manipulate the situation to the benefit of his survival. As motives are questioned and the looming shadow of culpability grows, it's only a matter of time before the tight-knit group must negotiate the perilous bridge between the trust and the truth. So the movie centres around 5 close friends, and they are conspiring to kill a music teacher named Bernard. Now, the reasons that they're doing this is because they feel that Bernard is the reason why one of the friend's siblings killed herself. So they go to Bernard's remote country home, they invade it, and they tie Bernard up, and they force him to take an overdose of sleeping tablets. So that they're under the impression that he's dying. And when they're satisfied that he's dead, they leave the house, they clear all evidence suggesting that's anything but a suicide, and then they're happy and they're on their way. Halfway home, they realise that one of the friends has left a mobile phone behind. So reluctantly, they have to go back to this guy's house, and this is where they realise that the sleeping tablets weren't strong enough, and in fact, Bernard is still alive. So this is where Bernard is willing to manipulate the situation for the benefit of his survival, and at the same time he uncovers a few hidden truths about these friends that causes the friends to doubt each other, and this is where a web of lies and deceit come in between these friends, and not all is what it seems. So if that synopsis interests you, then I hope that it is enough to make you want to go out there and see it, because that is as far as I am going with a synopsis. Now, my thoughts on the film. The problem with Australian cinema, the majority of Australian cinema, is that they make films that are well within the comfort zone, that they're not willing to be provocative, they're not willing to stand out amongst the crowd, and not willing to be unique. Therefore, they play it safe and they come across as just really boring television movies. Now, that was really a very, very common thing amongst Australian films until Wolf Creek came on the scene. Wolf Creek really appealed to a broader audience outside of Australia, and I feel that that is the benchmark in Australian cinema. Since then, Australia have grown some more balls, and they're willing to make movies that stand out from the past of Australian cinema, which is why, Australian films were so bad, and that why the industry here in Australia was lacking, because no one was willing to have their own style and be creative. So yeah, ever since Wolf Creek, that changed. And now, recently, I have noticed that Australia are going back into their shell, and it's going back to the way it used to be. And a lot of films, such as this one, they get so much recognition, it's hyped up so much, saying that this is the best thriller coming out of Australia in a long time. And it gets the audience really, really psyched. And when they go and see it, they're bitterly disappointed. And it's the case with a lot of very recent Australian films. And unfortunately, it is the case with this one. For a thriller, for a psychological thriller, this movie is lacking in so many departments. Now, for a psychological character drama, I thought that none of the characters were interesting. None of them had any sympathetic qualities. The story had the grounds to make something very interesting, and if the characters were well written out and the movie had just a little bit more patience and a little bit better pacing, I thought this could have been a very memorable film. But as a result of maybe inexperience as far as directing is concerned, lack of character development, they were all very cardboard cutout, and a lack of quality acting, it just presented itself as a very lame love story instead of a thriller. For a thriller, it didn't have any menacing quality at all. There was no real threat. There was no real sense of danger, which is a great pity, because in the first 5 minutes of the film, the director does a very good job at creating a sense of impending doom, that something was about to happen, and whatever happened, it was going to be bad. But then by about a quarter of the way in, the director he goes into this love story and all these web of lies that just comes across as so boring, and it really halts the progression of the film. And by the end of it, you're just glad it's over. And you know, the ending, it does go down a road where I wasn't expecting, but it wasn't enough to save the film. So you know, this one is once again a very, very disappointing effort, and it's what the biggest problem with the film industry is demonstrated in this movie. Now, it says on the back, the creme de la creme of young Australian actors. Well, I have to disagree. You know, if this is the best that Australia can offer as far as youth is concerned, then Australian cinema is in a lot of trouble, because apart from Kirsty Morassi, who is a very good actress, I thought she played her role well with what she was given. Apart from her, the acting was rubbish, to say the least. And these are supposed to be the up-and-coming Australian actors. And if they're getting so much praise like this, then someone isn't telling them the truth, because really, it left a lot to be desired. Now, the most interesting thing in the film was a dog. Now, that pretty much sums it up. If a dog can outdo any other character in the film as far as an interesting quality is concerned, then that is a really, really bad sign. The music, soundtrack, cinematography was very good. It showed that the director does know how to, you know, direct a film as far as visuals and audio is concerned. But you know, as far as a story and as far as depth and as far as things that, you know, this movie, it tried to be something that it definitely wasn't, and it just goes into the long list of movies that are just very bland and come across as made-for-television movies. So, you know, this movie, it fails on all cylinders as far as I'm concerned. I'm giving it 1.5 out of 5. Don't trust all the rave reviews that this film has got, because I thought, as far as a thriller is concerned, it was bitterly disappointing, and as far as a well-driven psychological character drama was concerned, it was just lacking any depth. So, you know, really, really disappointing effort from my home country yet again. And hopefully, in the near future, we start getting films that have a little bit of balls, such as Wolf Creek. So, yeah, definitely not coming recommended. 1.5 out of 5. Alright, guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.